What's going on, Imperials? It's Emperor Cubone here. Exploration is a key facet of any Pokémon journey, and it offers a rewarding feeling when you stumble across a hidden area or a location filled with items for you to pick up. However, not every nook and cranny is laid out for you to see, and in fact some areas players are likely to miss altogether because the story directs you to move along. So you can complete the entire game without ever discovering these hidden secrets, which is a shame because some of these areas are the best that these regions have to offer. So here are the top 6 best completely optional areas in Pokémon. Number 6. The Sinnoh Underground. Okay, so I know that you have to do a quick tutorial thing when you first get the Explorer kit, so it's not like you're completely oblivious to its existence, but after that you never have to go back. While many players will have spent several hours down here, I wouldn't be surprised if some people forget that it was even a feature by the time they reach the next gym. But for those that took the time to plumb the depths of this land, they would see that it's not as bland and empty as it might be on the surface. Simply digging up treasures could distract you for hours trying to collect all of the evolution stones and different fossils, or just finding the precious spheres. These are the lifeblood of the subterranean economy, and how you gain access to TMs and items that can actually be helpful to you in your Pokémon journey once you get back to the surface world. So putting pause on any evil team plan so that you can go mining for days at a time is nice, but you can also build a secret base down here while you're at it. This was effectively an expansion of the idea that was brought in by Gen 3, but with even better customization. And this time with the DS's wireless communications, you could actually interact with other players in real time through the underground. And maybe the best part was that you could set traps for other people to avoid, either randomly just to be a nuisance, or to protect your secret base. Not to mention that in the remakes there are caverns of wild Pokémon to collect as well, some of them quite a bit before you could usually find them on the surface. So for the amount of time that you can sink into this underground labyrinth, and the tangible benefits that it can give, it's crazy to think that this is technically an optional area of the game. Number 5. Alfornada Cavern. I promise they won't all be beneath the earth, but while Paldea has a lot of space, they don't always use it the most efficiently. That's why it's so impressive that they can cram so much in the space beneath Alfornada, the city with the psychic gym. When you first arrive, there's a path leading to the mouth of a cave where you can find some great new strong Pokémon to add to your team, but there's also no way to actually get up to the ledges that would let you progress. That would require the climbing feature unlocked after beating the False Dragon Titan, but that's way too far in the other direction on the map. So who has time for that? So some players leave and probably forget all about this area until they've gotten all of the other gym badges. But for those that continue to explore, they're compensated by finding a small outcropping of rock connected to the cavern. Mind you, this is an incredibly treacherous journey, and would be terrifying to cross, especially with those seaside winds. But this is a hidden back door into the cavern that you can access without beating any of the titans. And once you're on the inside, there's a fun maze-like structure for you to traverse as you keep ascending, with plenty of strong trainer battles for you to face as well, with some Pokémon that you wouldn't have even seen yet. Honestly, they may be too strong if you're here fairly early, but this whole cave system is just so much fun to explore, and wind your way around up to the top and finally see that there really is a city up here after all. That's gotta make it hard to get deliveries, but for gameplay purposes, this is the perfect use of the open world ideas of Gen 9, allowing you to take on a problem your own way, and rewarding the player for their meticulous investigation of every inch of the map, giving them a leg up on people who don't indulge their curiosity. Number 4. Undella Town. Post-game areas are generally always optional since some people just put down the game after beating it, so their inclusion on the list might be dubious. After all, it's not like I'm gonna say the entire Kanto region is the best optional area. However, basically half of the Unova region is after the Elite Four. With some pretty great spots like Village Bridge, it's easy to forget how late in the game this really is. But not all of the locations are all that cool or even useful. However, Undella Town is a happening little place. This city is right in the middle of these post-game add-ons, so it's the most out of the way in either direction, meaning that it's the least likely to be visited in the whole game. But there's a lot going on here, like the rich family villa where you can challenge all of them to consecutive battles day after day, where they build their teams to be harder, all of them at or above level 60, so it's still a challenge in this late stage of the game. And once you've beaten all of them, you can sell your relic items to one of them for a huge profit. Oh, also, you can collect relic items here by diving down into Undella Bay. The dive HM in general is totally optional in this game. Technically all of them are, but you never have to go down to explore these underwater ruins. It would just be something really cool that you would miss out on if you don't. But if battling the family was too boring for you, you can also face off against Cynthia. That's right, she came all the way here from the Sinnoh region just to fight you for the fun of it, and it is fun indeed. There is also the marine tube connection, but that's in the sequel games, and I'm mostly focusing on the first Black and White, because here it is purely voluntary. But it is well worth your time, and especially in the first games, this drew me in a lot more than either Black City or White Forest ever could. Number 3, the Ruins of Alph. Speaking of ruins, this section of Johto is surprisingly easy to avoid. You can just head straight down Route 32 after Violet City and blissfully go on your way playing the game, and then just not loop back around once you've moved the Sudowoodo, and you could never know that you just passed by a mysterious realm filled with secrets. Of course, these ruins are famously the home of the Unknown, the enigmatic ancient language Pokémon. Of course, we didn't know then that they couldn't do all that well in combat, but the legends surrounding these Pokémon were thankfully not exclusive to the anime, because the games also let us walk around these underground catacombs covered in messaging that looks just like the Unknown. And while a cryptic vibe would be nice, that's not all that this place has to offer, because firstly, there are wild Pokémon outside the ruins that you can't really find anywhere else that early in the game, so that's a nice bonus just for checking this place out without even going into the ruins. Then on the inside, there are actual puzzles for you to solve, like it was an Indiana Jones temple, that require you to figure out clues and then arrange the tiles properly, which will unlock even more of the ruins for you to explore, and catch the new kinds of Unknown, which will allow you to collect all of them. It's frankly impressive that they were even able to pull this off in Generation 2, but if you ever wanted to raid a tomb in Pokémon, this is the closest that you're going to get. Number 2, the Trick House. The Hoenn region has quite a few optional areas, like the entirety of Dewford Town, but to me the most intriguing is definitely the Trick House. On paper, this is just a random house north of Slateport, and with having just looked through so many buildings in Hoenn's biggest city, I could see some people just passing it by and think, I'll see where this path goes first, and then getting sidetracked by all of Mauville. But even if you did stop in the Trick House, you first have to find the guy that's hiding in the room like a creep, so you may not be able to check all of the right spots, and even after completing the first puzzle, you may not realize that you can come back for more as you earn more badges. All that to say, it's really easy for players to miss out on this hidden gem of a location, because I didn't even know that it was there for a long time in my first playthrough. But having this crazy philanthropist randomly test your skills in a house that's bigger on the inside is basically like having Willy Wonka in a Pokémon game, and while he doesn't give you the trick house when you're done, you do get some great prizes for your trouble as well. Plus, the variety of the rooms means that you don't get tired of any one theme for too long, like if you were in a deep cave or out surfing, so no one theme overstays its welcome. And honestly, once you find the hidden spots of the Trickmaster to kick off each puzzle, you feel like a genius. So while this place is truly bonkers and basically invented the escape room craze, you absolutely do not need to ever enter this house to finish the game. Or just maybe you've been inside the house the whole time. Number 1, Ultraspace. Yeah, this may be cheating a bit, and you do have to fight Lusamine in part of Ultraspace and Sun and Moon, and go to Ultra Megalopolis in the sequel games, but those tiny requirements pale in comparison to what Ultraspace really has to offer in the latter games. You start the whole thing with an awesome minigame where you're basically surfing through a Stargate wormhole, but you can choose your destination through the various apertures that fly by. These lead to several different kinds of worlds where you can either, say, catch a water Pokémon or rock types, that sort of thing. And once you ride through the multiverse enough, You can learn what color of wormhole will lead you to the specific environments, but even beyond that, you can use the types of flares off of the wormholes to determine the strength of the Pokémon you would find. This means that Ultraspace is a great way to collect a bunch of legendary Pokémon, but of course in the Ultra games you can also go to unique worlds to collect the Ultra Beasts as well. This was so much better than them randomly appearing in the grasses of Alola, because actually visiting their homes gives us insights into the lore that were completely unspoken. Like how Guzzlord comes from a rundown apocalyptic trash heap with radiation suits around, while Kartana comes from a mystical forest with zealots that dress up just like it. This is all visual information that you would never see if you decided not to recklessly jump through a tear in space-time. And if nothing else, the Ultra Wormholes are fantastic methods of obtaining shiny Pokémon. I've even found some accidentally just by trying to fly as far as I could, so even randomly exploring can reap wonderful rewards. And by the way, if you evolve a Pokémon with an Alolan variant evolution out here in space, it would become its regular past form out here, which is just an amazing detail that they did not need to include. But it really drives home just how far away from Alola you really are out here. There is literally no need to ever go into Ultraspace after you've beaten Necrozma. However, players who do can find wildly valuable fortune and untold adventure, just by going a little bit out of their way. But there are plenty of great areas in Pokémon that are optional, like say the fan favorite Red at the top of Mount Silver. So, which voluntary locations do you find the most rewarding to explore? Let me know down in the comments. Also be sure to leave a like, share this video, and subscribe so that you too can become an Imperial today. And until next time, stay grounded!